Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it take a
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up right here on the Shrimp Tank. You can always catch a replay of all of our broadcasts, including today's wonderful show with our guests on shrimptankpodcast.com, or download all of our programs and get it every week on iTunes. Just hit Shrimp Tank and you'll get that show. You can listen to it in your car or if you have time while you're at your desk. Great shows to learn from some of the best entrepreneurs across the state of Georgia. Now, today we are joined by our guest, Parish Kohanim, who's the owner of Parish Kohanim Photography. He's also, think about this in endorsement deals. He got endorsed by Canon. He actually uses their cameras, and they went to him and said, hey, shoot with our stuff. We learned amazing things from him today.
Yeah, and so many of your stories were so engaging, and one of the concepts that came up was, how do you price your work? When we talk about valuing what you do, especially as an artist, how would you go about doing that?
Well, that's the most difficult thing for me, because a lot of people say, why are you pricing it so low? I think, if I don't put a value on it, nobody will. And it's kind of an intuitive process, it depends how complicated that project was that I worked on. So obviously, if I spend more time, the price goes higher. So that's how I work with the pricing.
Well, it was really interesting because when we talk to a lot of business owners, they talk about this idea of hiring good people in your business, this idea of put the right talent on the bus, and to a certain extent, you don't even have to train because the talent will be able to make this happen. But being an artist and being in the center of this, you talked about a different concept, which is the importance of surrounding yourself with really good people, right, and how that can make a difference in your business rather than just hiring them in your business. Tell us more about that, why it's important to have good people around you.
Yeah, I think it's very important to surround yourself with the greatest, the most talented people and smarter people. As Warren Buffett said, I'd like to surround myself with people who are smarter than I am.
Right.
So for me, when I'm doing a photograph of figurative work, I want to get the best model and has the most talent, and most importantly, they connect with the message. That's what I'm trying to portray. I just don't want a body that has no feelings. I want somebody who really senses what I'm doing, and understands what the focus is, and be patient to go through the process, and not, it's not taking one or two shots and get the shot done. So a lot of times we have to build up the shot. It takes a lot of effort to do it, and a creativity button is not something that you could just turn on and off. Sometimes you have to go through the alleys, but in time you'll get it. So that component is really important. So they understand the process fully. So they share the process with you.
So I'm curious about technology, and is that a good thing as a photographer or a bad thing?
I love my iPhone.
Yeah, well, me too. I don't know. The GPS part of my iPhone is the best. That's how I got here. But I think if we put too much value on technology, and we do, I think a lot of companies, they put, Canon, Apple, Nikon, all these companies, they always are coming with newer products, and they want us to buy the latest and greatest, and it's great, and I really appreciate that. But I think there's too much technology, and I find myself caught in it sometimes, because when I'm working on a project in post-production, for instance, I'm working on this image that is on a 30-inch 4K monitor that has a huge resolution. You could enlarge it thousands of times. You see the smallest details and nuances of detail. And then I think one of the disciplines that I've learned, that step away from it all. After working on it for hours, you just become so tunnel vision. So you just step away, or I even do as I just do something totally different. Go have a cup of coffee, and come back and look at what I've been working on. I say, whoa, I've really overworked it. So it gives you a whole different perspective of backing off and really capturing the purity of what you intended instead of overworking. Because when you're overworking it, you're using your mind and not your spirit, because I think one of the greatest photographers that I admire, she's no longer alive, her name is Ruth Bernhardt. Mm-hmm. And she's a great photographer, but she's also a great philosopher. She says there's no such thing as taking too much time to do that photo because your soul is in that shot. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be, no matter what kind of business we're in, isn't that a great motto to
It is.
That,
Well, two last quick questions for you here. Who's the most famous person you ever shot?
Donald Trump, I guess he was one of them, and Dylan McDermott was the other one. Interesting story.
Dylan
McDermott, and it's interesting how people we were talking earlier how people are obsessed about gathering either data or the photo or signature. So we were with Dylan McDermott after shooting all day. We go out to dinner with like a crew of 20 people. At the restaurant, it's nice, and then people would come and ask him for an autograph. And I said, "What are you going to do with this autograph?" It just didn't make sense to me. And, there's such thing as respect and courtesy for people.
Right.
And
how about the photographer you do admire the most of all time? Do you have one photographer that stands out?
Oh, there's so many great ones. I think Ansel Adams really redefined photography, landscape photography, and beyond his photography, he was an environmentalist. He was the catalyst to preserving some of our Yosemite National Park, in addition to John Muir and Teddy Roosevelt and all that. And I think beyond our work, there's a much bigger mission for us that we can help our world and environment, not just take and give back.
Well, this is amazing stuff today. Thanks so much for coming on the program. You really have to hear the whole broadcast. There's amazing stuff. And you got to hear our story about Trump and Ivanka. It's crazy good. So for folks that might want to buy your art, take a look at your art, or see the art gallery that you have here in Atlanta, how can folks learn more about your business, what you do, and more about the art that you've made?
Well, as an intro, we go to my website, which is parishkohanim.com, PARISHKOHANIM.com. More importantly, we'd love for you to come and experience the art in our gallery. We welcome you. It's not a typical gallery that we're not snobby or anything like that. We love people to have over. Come and experience and share the art. And whether you buy the art or not, it's irrelevant. We just love to have people come over. Yeah.
Well, this is great stuff today. Yeah, you've got to check out the art gallery. It is truly amazing. When you see the photography of some of these Cirque artists that Parish was talking about today in the post-show wrap-up, it's truly amazing. Maybe you, too, need a Trump and Ivanka photo that Parish has done in your house. Look, it's a new regime for 4 years. You might need one of those. Thanks so much for joining us right here on the Shrimp Tank post-show wrap-up.